Horizon Gents, welcome to CG Reaction, and this is Can a Volcano Destroy the World by the channel RealLifeLore. Yeah, definitely. Super volcanoes like Yellowstone. There are super volcanoes who can basically destroy things around it and basically shoot out the cloud that covers the entire atmosphere of our planet, block the sunlight, and basically kill all the living things slowly. Maybe humans could survive for a few years, but yeah, it's still an apocalyptic event. But yeah, that's what this one. RealLifeLore is a great channel. I love reacting to this channel. Some of the topics like this, this channel covers is just unlike any I've seen. So it's fun. I've reacted to quite a few already from this channel. If you haven't seen them, check out the cards. There's a playlist I've created for it, RealLifeLore reaction, something like that. Check out the playlist too. Check out the end cards, and yeah, let's watch this one.
This is a video by RealLifeLore, sponsored by the Great Courses Plus. We all know that volcanoes can cause a massive amount of destruction whenever they erupt. They can wipe out entire cities like what happened to Pompeii in the Roman Empire, or devastate entire regions like when Mount St. Helens erupted in the United States. But is it possible that if a volcano erupted with a massive enough force sometime in the future, could it actually destroy all of human civilization on the planet? At some points in the past, volcanoes have actually come pretty close to doing exactly that. First, we need to understand something called the Volcanic Explosivity Index, which is a scale used to measure the eruptions of volcanoes. The scale goes from 0 being a relatively tiny eruption that is happening all over the world continuously, all the way up to an 8, which would be a mega colossal eruption with earth-shattering consequences, similar to an asteroid impact that only happens about every 50,000 years on average. For reference in regards to how powerful volcanoes can actually get, both the Mount Vesuvius eruption that annihilated ancient Pompeii and the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980 would both be classified as only a level 5 eruption on this scale, which is incredible because the Mount St. Helens eruption released 24 megatons, or 1,600 times the scale of the atomic bomb dropped.
That's the real photo? Look at that thing. That is ridiculous.
Dropped on Hiroshima, which means that things only get ridiculously more powerful from here. Perhaps the best known level 6 volcanic eruption was the Krakatoa Nightmare in 1883. The volcano was located on this island in Indonesia and exploded with the awe-inspiring force of 200 megatons. 13,000 times more powerful than the Hiroshima atomic bomb and 4 times more powerful than even the mighty Tsar Bomba, the largest nuclear weapon humanity has ever detonated. This epic explosion generated the loudest sound ever known to have happened in human history, shattering sailors' eardrums that were located 64 kilometers from the blast, and capable of being
Hold up there.
Shattering sailors.
Everybody who was here also got deaf, so that's how powerful the wave was. God damn.
Eardrums that were located 64 kilometers from the blast, and capable of being heard perfectly clear as far away as Perth, Australia. Almost the entire island that the volcano was located on was completely blown apart. The blast was so powerful that it sent coral reefs that had been dormant for centuries on the ocean floor hurtling towards land as if they were asteroids. And the explosion
from the ocean floor, damn!
Generated 30-meter-high tsunamis that ravaged the rest of Indonesia. Everybody on the nearby island of Sabisi was killed in the immediate aftermath, and in total up to 120,000 people in the islands were killed in the immediate aftermath of the disaster.
Yeah, from tsunamis, right? Oh, that's just fucked up. 120,000 people just died like that. I mean, those people never even thought that all volcano that is all the way there in the distance is going to be capable of killing everybody there. But holy shit. That's the, fear people have about Apophis, that asteroid which is coming. If it does hit the Earth, it's going to hit somewhere in the part of the ocean. They know where it's going to hit. And when it hits, it's going to create a massive tsunamis that would, I guess, wipe out the eastern coast of USA or something like that. Florida and lots of areas would get affected. That is just effed up, man. If the blast doesn't kill you, tsunamis will.
There were reports of human skeletons on rafts that had gotten lost at sea trying to escape that began washing up on the east coast of Africa 1 entire year after the explosion. But perhaps the worst part about volcanic eruptions is the massive amount of ash that gets pumped into the atmosphere that can block out the sunlight and cause global temperatures to drop dramatically. In the case of Krakatoa, global temperatures fell by 1.2 degrees Celsius the following year and did not recover for another 4 years. The ash in the atmosphere caused weird optical effects too that made the moon occasionally appear blue or even green. And even this famous painting is theorized by some to actually depict what an accurate sky above Norway looked like in the year following the eruption. Another deadly level 6 eruption happened exactly 100 years previously.
Yeah, I mean, during the Byzantine time, during the first Justinian plague that, came up, bubonic plague, the accounts there, people have wrote down the accounts from that time, like, sun went dark, everything went dark because in the distance somewhere a volcano erupted. So, even in the Byzantine Empire, everything went dark. And at the same time, the plague came. Obviously, people at the time would have thought, "Oh, this is it. The world is ending or something," because we have the plague and the world is getting darker. Damn.
Than this in Iceland, in which more sulfur dioxide was pumped into the Earth's atmosphere in just a few months than the entire industrial output of all of modern-day Europe combined for 3 years. This created a toxic gas cloud that killed 50% of all animal life on Iceland, which caused a famine that killed 25% of the human population on the island. The toxic cloud then moved across the sea over to the rest of Europe, where 23,000 more people died in Britain alone from the poison gas. But let's get a little more crazy and move up to what a level 7 on the scale would look like. One of these such eruptions created the largest explosion ever witnessed in recorded history back only 2 centuries ago in 1815. Also taking place on an island in Indonesia, this explosion shot 400 million tons of ash into our atmosphere that plunged the entire planet into a year-long winter. All life on the island where the eruption took place was annihilated. A circle 600 kilometers wide from the blast was shrouded in darkness for days. And the year of 1816 became known as the year without a summer due to the fact that it snowed in New York and Maine in the middle of June. And Quebec City got a full 30 centimeters of snow during the same month. This was certainly a very devastating eruption that may have immediately killed up to 100,000 people, but it may have also caused famines worldwide due to the cold temperatures that killed crops across the world. But 75,000 years ago, an enormous
Tambora volcano. I'm not gonna lie, volcanoes are more scary than asteroids. People think, what you talking about? Asteroid kills entire, generation of all the different type of animal. Dinosaurs were died because of asteroids. Yeah, but we know how to deflect asteroid right now. We don't know how to stop volcanoes. People who live around the volcanoes, even today, I don't know how they do it. I would move out. I'm not gonna lie. I would move out to some far distance place. Because like there's a volcano exploded at a high, like 5-6 scale. And everybody around it, just 50 kilometers away, everybody will die instantly. Millions of, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people could die. Around this time, population was low. Nowadays, population is immensely high. So something like this happens today, millions of people would die immediately. That's just effed up, man.
Volcano may have
no
caused
technology can stop
to come
that.
The closest that it's ever been to ultimate extinction. The Toba supervolcano, also located in Indonesia, exploded with a level 8 on our scale in these prehistoric times. It was 3,000 times more powerful than what happened at Mount St. Helens and ejected 100 times more ash than even the Tambora explosion did in 1815. This was enough ash to completely bury all of Luxembourg beneath a full kilometer of the stuff, or all of Argentina beneath 1 meter.
There
it
you
sent
go.
the planet into a
There you go. Stats like this is why I react to this channel.
decade-long winter where global temperatures dropped by as much as 15 degrees Celsius, and
That's
early
a
humanity
lot.
was possibly almost destroyed by it. The global human population may have dwindled to as few as a mere 3,000 people during those hard times, which is about the same number of people that currently follow me on Facebook and Twitter. But humanity managed to persevere, which leaves the interesting question of what would happen if a level 8 supervolcano exploded today. The most likely and devastating culprit would be the Yellowstone supervolcano in the United States. The entire Yellowstone National Park is hiding a volcano of gargantuan proportions right beneath her visitors' feet. It is experienced three.
I've seen all the people, all the children going, yay, look at the Yellowstone Park or whatever. They're just going there watching the steam coming up. I'm like, dude, you're standing on the bomb that nobody can stop. I mean, obviously, scientists say that it's going to take hundreds of thousands of years before this explodes. But even they're saying that this is just what we predict. That could be, unpredictable thing that could happen and it could explode in 10 years. Nobody knows. Volcanoes are just scary, man.
Level 8 eruptions in the past 2.1 million years, with the most recent one happening 640,000 years ago. There is enough magma in the volcano system underneath the surface today to fill the entire Grand Canyon 11 times over.
Wait a minute. So, 2.1, then 1.3, so that's 800 million, then 1.3 to 640. That's about as half. So we might be due for another volcanic explosion at this level if we follow the pattern any time now. I mean, it might be a few thousand years here and there, but it could happen any time. Damn.
With the most recent one happening 640,000 years ago. There is enough magma in the volcano system underneath the surface today to fill the entire Grand Canyon 11 times over, or bury the entire Netherlands with 1 full kilometer of molten rock.
There you
It is
go.
estimated that the volcano has about a 1 in 700,000 chance of exploding each year, which is absurdly unlikely, but what would happen if we were absurdly unlucky?
Yeah, people bet on the lottery with worse odds than that. Think about that.
Well, here is a map of what the damage would look like. The states of Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana would be largely buried beneath a full meter of ash, which would render them all uninhabitable. Anybody who didn't evacuate from these 3 states would likely be killed in the aftermath of the explosion. Salt Lake City and Denver would also likely suffer major damage and casualties. The only parts of the mainland US that would escape any ashfall would be southern Texas and southern Florida. This event would
Oh my god, it would affect the entire United States. Look at that all the way here. Knoxville, Washington, even the New York, all of them would what is it, Toronto? Even the Canada, yeah, even the Canada would get touched. Damn.
likely create either the largest mass grave or the largest refugee crisis in history, as entire states worth of people would have to be evacuated and probably flee east. The entire western United States would be completely devastated and agricultural production in the country would be
Oh god, imagine that. This is not something that right now we don't have technology. Stopping a volcano is near impossible thing. So there will be a day where this Yellowstone will explode and the entire United States would get affected. I mean, there would be so weird thing, people from United States, seeking refuge somewhere else. Where are they gonna go? Mexico? This is effed up, man. Entire United States buried in ass.
crippled. It would be the biggest disaster in history and likely throw the United States into a depression multiple times worse than the 1920s stock market crash. This in turn would throw the
For fuck's sake, USA is a powerhouse right now of the world. If USA gets screwed like that, entire world is screwed economically. Everybody will suffer.
entire world economy into a severe depression, and
There you
coupled
go.
with a 10-year-long winter caused by lingering ash in the atmosphere and the resulting massive crop failures and famines, and the world would be a very tumultuous, cold, and frightening place. Human civilization may be changed forever by that eruption, and who knows what catastrophic change it may bring about, but it likely wouldn't.
Wait a minute, is that thing? I saw it on Cosmos in Antarctica somewhere. They're keeping samples or something, I forgot.
Catastrophic change it may bring about, but it likely wouldn't completely end us as a species. Life would go on in some way or another, as it always has. Now, after saying all of that, I must take the time now to once
Yeah, people, go to greatcoursesplus.com/RealLifeLore. This is a great channel, support it. I mean, damn, if last year anything that told us that is that smallest thing as what happened last year. It was a small thing compared to everything else. The plague that we had has a higher recovery chance, and yet look what that did to us. So if something like this happens, basically world would end in a way. The world that we know of would end. Anybody who survives would live in a very different and heavy times, let's just say. Because if USA falls, entire world falls in one way or another. Economy falls. Everybody's screwed. It's so, and then the cloud basically kills most of the crops around the world. Most of the animals would die. Humans would survive, but lots of humans would die too. So that's just effed up. And this is something that we don't know when it's gonna explode. People are making assumptions like it could take like a few 100,000 years, but then again, like he said, there's a chance it could explode any time. I mean, people bet on lotteries with worse odds than that. That is just effed up, man. Super volcanoes are scary. Meteors and asteroids you could just basically, deflect. NASA has that power. This is just, yeah. The day we could do something about it, which I don't know how we can do something about it, but the day we could do something about it, then we will have actual power, actual safety. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast for the playlist. Check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.